All right, here we are. Good morning, everyone. I'm Kathy with Quality Coach Kathy, and I'm delighted to be part of Friday Morning Group Coaching and Mastermind here with Wendy Fisher, my faithful co-host, as well as three amazing, beautiful coaches who are gracing us with their presence and example of how to do some facilitated group coaching online using the Tapping into Wealth processes. And I'm just so blessed to be introducing everyone this morning. So, Wendy, let's start with you. I know you very well. I've been blessed with you multiple times. I know your background as a health and wellness coach, as well as a Tapping into Wealth coach. And you're going to be helping us facilitate this work this morning.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much. How are you this morning?
Oh, I am wonderful this morning. Thank you. I did some work yesterday and got in touch with this inner child that's just ferocious, and she's wonderful. So, yeah, I'm feeling really good this morning. I'm happy to be here. I'm just so happy to be able to facilitate this meeting this morning and this process. And I just come with beginner's mind, and we're going to have a great time. Work some things through.
Great. Thank you so much for being a part of holding this container of safety and acceptance and no judgment. I really appreciate that. Let's move on to Kay. I know you're muted right now, which is totally fine because you got some background noise going on, but Kay Walker is a expert Tapping into Wealth coach. She works directly with Margaret Lynch, who is one of my heroes and mentors and teachers, and she's been coming on a regular basis participating in this format, and we so are blessed to have you as a peer and a colleague and a support and a coach. So I just really want to celebrate you as well. How are you this morning, Kay?
I'm fabulous. Thank you so much. I love being here. This just rounds everything out. I love being with you, tapping, hearing you bring this to the world. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Wonderful. All right, let's move on to Leona. I'm sorry, I mispronounced your name. Sorry, Mama Leona. I love you.
I love you, Kathy. I am so honored and so blessed to be here. The universe is definitely conspiring for me to be the stunningly successful Tapping into Wealth coach I dream of being, and this group is part of the evidence of that. So I'm really excited to be here this morning and look forward to the path we're about to walk and what it opens up. Thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you. All right, Kim. Oh, I'm so delighted that you're jumping in, particularly because you are bringing to us a very unique position, because you're not a Tapping into Wealth coach already. You are a very successful business coach, and you have this whole piece around strategy and effectiveness, and you're bringing your own unique beginner's mind and willingness to be here. And you're my neighbor. I know you personally. We've hugged, which has got a special piece of connection that can be really valuable. So thank you for being here. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day.
It's a beautiful day, and thank you for being here.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
All right. Without further ado, we're going to jump into a very powerful process called the vow of invisibility. And this process has some really amazing strings or tentacles into our earliest paradigm. It has a lot to do with the invisible or hidden beliefs about ourselves and what we are able or willing to receive and how we move forward. And I will let Wendy take on the lead. If you are watching at home, which we're hoping we have some people who want to, follow along in their own time and space, definitely have some water, pen, paper.
Absolutely.
Get relaxed, get yourself settled in and ready to receive this gift.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just get up, take a second and settle in. You know, if you need water, get it, and we're going to get started. So in the past few sessions, we've been working on goals. We've worked on a big outrageous goal, and we've worked on some goal trauma. And if you haven't done those processes, you're welcome to go back to our YouTube videos and follow along with those, or to contact us directly, and we can, you know, work some of that through with you. But today we're going to expand on that. So if you haven't done that, I want you to think about a big goal that you either have set or would like to set, maybe. And if it's a financial goal, you don't want it to be way out of reach, but, you know, maybe double what you're making now or triple. And you know, a good place for a lot of Americans to be comfortable in their life is like $75,000. But pick a goal that seems reasonable for you, and that's something that's a reach. That's, you know, maybe a possible reach if you have the right tools. So I want you to just have that in mind as we start going through this process. So, because what happens when we start reaching for a goal like that is some of our programming kicks in. When we have a big goal and we start saying, I deserve more, that I'm valuable, that I can do it, we run up against this programming that can sabotage us. And I know I've experienced a lot of sabotage in my goals in my life. And so, you know, we don't want to fail again. We don't want to take this new big goal and just not see it come to fruition. This is a process we're going to do to help us to actually start reaching those goals. And so I'm using my notes. So just so you know, I don't want to miss anything because this is such good stuff. So the vow of visibility is one of the vows we can take. And it comes from our childhood. It comes from earlier experiences. And the other one, Kathy, I can't remember if you mentioned it, but is a vow of perfection, is another vow we sometimes take. And there's another process for that. We'll do another day. But these vows can be in our life for a very long time. And they can play together. Sometimes they can be really tricky. They can play and they can like hide and play hide and seek. And so we really want to see them clearly. So we want to get some clarity around this, and then we want to write it down. I'm going to encourage you, when you see it, write it down, because tomorrow or next week, you may say, what's going on? And if you go back and look at what you wrote down today, you might say, bingo, that's exactly it. So for most people, these two vows can just stop them in their tracks. Cause them to really get stuck into sabotage. So if you think about when you were really young and you needed something, it may have been a hug. It may have been, I don't know, a glass. Maybe you needed to stop the car and go pee. But for some reason, that was not possible. Or maybe it was dangerous at that moment in your life. For some reason, your family, that goal that request couldn't be fulfilled at that moment. And maybe it was dangerous to ask for that. So I want you to just try to think if there's something like that that's coming to mind. So if that happened more than once, right? If that happened more than once, you might have started to deny that you even had that. So you're driving in the car on a long trip with your family, and you're like, I gotta go pee. And you're like, well, there's no place to stop now. We'll get there. And 10 minutes later, you're like, I gotta go pee, you know, and you're like, you can't stop again. Well, you might just start saying, well, I don't really need to. I'll hold it, right? And so this is just a little example of something. But if it was a hug that you needed, and that repeatedly didn't get fulfilled, right? And you start saying, I really don't need a hug. I really don't need that affection. I don't need that. And you start denying that need. This can really play out long-term in your life. So it's really important to really look at this, because we don't want to never ask for our needs to be met. We don't ever want to be in that place where you say, I have this need, but I can't ask for it. It's dangerous, or it's not possible, right? And we do this because of things that happened when we were young. So with a vow to be invisible, when we make a big goal, set a bigger goal for our life, we need to take bolder action, right? We need to step out, and this can be hindered. And because our nervous system, having this hidden programming in it, wants to stay status quo, right? It's uncomfortable to get out of my comfort zone. I don't want to go there because it's dangerous or it's not possible. So it can impact how we set boundaries, right? And how much we're willing to give and receive is another aspect of it. So if I have this vow to be invisible, am I willing to give? Am I willing to receive? And it often hits people right in the gut, right in the stomach, because it's this third chakra vow of, I don't want to be seen. So every time we come up against this vow that's programmed right in our nervous system, in your unconscious mind, you feel exactly the same way, right? Usually when we're setting this goal and we're taking bold steps to reach it, what do you feel? What comes up for you? And you're welcome to share. Kathy?
I tend to feel conflict.
Okay. Some conflict. So
Yeah.
what does that mean?
Well, I have this image of I think there's this saying around, don't put your head above the crowd. And
Okay.
there's some piece that really wants my head above the crowd, but then I'm scared that it's going to get chopped off kind of feeling. So I have this conflict of I want to be seen, but no, I don't want to be hurt.
Okay. So there's some fear there of being hurt.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. Not that that's a good thing, but yeah, Kay.
So I hear that. That's great. I'm alone. If we use that example and I put my head above the crowd, I don't have anybody.
Okay.
It's me. I can kind of connect, but I don't really want to be seen there as that expert because I'm alone and I'm definitely not an expert, right?
Okay.
Haven't been an expert since I was 2.
And yet, in my experience with you, you are an expert at what you do. But what's important is that feeling inside.
But it's that feeling, yeah.
Yeah. I don't feel like an expert. I don't want to be seen as an expert. What if I fail?
Yeah, and I have nobody. You're not there with me, Wendy. If both our heads are up there, if I feel that or if I see that, now I've got you. We've got each other.
Right.
But in my goals, if I'm just sitting here and doing my business and sending that stuff out, it's just me.
Yeah. I hear you. Yep. Yeah. What does that make you feel? What do you feel inside with that?
Alone.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I'm alone.
You're alone.
It doesn't feel good to be alone.
Mm-mm.
There's
It
a
doesn't
sadness,
feel
but
good.
I don't have that connection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else come up for you ladies? When you try to step out and do something big that's new for you, what does it trigger inside of you?
I have a lot of reservations about it.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Because I've done it a couple of times or more and it hasn't panned out.
Okay. Yep.
Makes it a bit of a challenge to believe that it's a little different with this because I just feel so supportive and the non-coincidences that seem to occur here or within the tapping into wealth stuff. So it's a little different. I have a little more trust of this particular thing, but I've had some pretty big yeah, I'm going to go teach everyone how to tighten up their homes and save energy and
Okay.
live a greener life. And, poof, it was all gone.
It didn't work out.
And didn't work out. And I was going to be a health coach, and I was going to combine it with EFT, and I was going to rock people's world, and it was going to be grand, and poof. So,
And then what did you feel when it didn't happen?
that I don't have what it takes.
Okay. A lack of belief
That
in
it's
yourself.
not supposed to be. I'm not supposed to do much in the world. I'm,
Mm. Oh, okay.
probably pretty well done it at my age.
Oh yeah, that's
Wow.
the programming, and I
Yeah.
think the word programming can get unpacked even more because it's the inner dialogue that we tell ourselves that justify that feeling. Because it first happens in the body, it first happens in the nervous system. When we're little kids, we learn impulse control, right? So we don't
Yes.
do the wrong thing, but that impulse control suppresses even the positive impulses in a way that can be unproductive. And then we learn over time, my age, I'm just, and that inner dialogue supports it, and then we get the evidence for it.
Right. Right.
And that's why we want to unpack these things, and that's why we want to dismantle what is a good program from a
Right.
non-productive program.
Yeah. And you bring up a great point, Kathy, that it does come from when we're younger. It comes from our family. So, and it had a purpose, right? This had a purpose at the time. It may have kept you safe. So think about, a lot of kids like to jump up on the kitchen or on the coffee table, right? Or a chair and say, look at me, look at me. And if you think about, maybe you have a memory of that happening to you. What happened when you tried to do that? If you can remember that, what happened to you? Because I don't remember really doing that, but I have a sense of what I felt like. Anybody have a memory of that? I mean, that would be.
Well, I think as women, we are always having to be extra careful about everything we do. Everywhere we go, we need to make sure that there's people around, that we're not being isolated, we're not standing out. Otherwise, we get cat calls, we get, the attention we don't want, which is potentially dangerous, right? So us as women, when we want to put ourselves out there to the world, it's scary, and we want to protect ourselves because we've been told, or we've had experiences that when we do that, it was dangerous.
Right.
I felt that, Kim. My whole body felt in a resonance with like, oh, that is true.
Just listening?
Yeah.
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 I never had that experience, but I have my soul cousin. She's my blood cousin, but she's my soul sister. And she's a few years younger than I. And she did it. And it was at her grandmother's house. And her dad was like all over it. That was the greatest thing. And my parents were shocked and chagrined and like, what are they thinking? What? And I remember being really jealous. Really jealous that someone could just be fun and happy and look at me, and have anyone go, you're awesome, keep it up, you're doing a great job. It was such a contrast to, I guess, more puritanical approaches to things, perhaps.
Right. So that got trained into your nervous system, right? So whenever you try to step out, it's not safe. It's not, that's not what I do. It's not what my family does. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, yeah, now, the dominoes are going click, 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 click.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the clarity that we wanted to say, oh yeah, when I was X years old, this happened in my family, and my cousin could stand up on the coffee table and shout and dance and have a grand old time, and she got applause and she got validated.
No wonder I never completed instrument lessons. No wonder.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Right. So it became not safe for you, right? It just became not safe to shine, to stand out. And so this is in your nervous system programming from when you were really young. And that's a real blatant, real visual example, you know, and that's what we're looking for, really. You know, that's what I'm looking for this morning. And so that feeling that you felt, this is what I want you to write down. If you have a paper and pen, write down when you try to stand out. Think about this time when you were younger. What happened? How did you feel? Write it down. So as a child, this kept you safe, right? So you maybe you felt shame when you tried to stand out, or maybe you felt fear, and it stopped you from shining, but it kept you safe because the response you got earlier was, that's not okay for you, or don't shine, or whatever the message was, right? So now when you try to stand out now, that's what you feel, and that's what's in there. And so we're going to do some tapping in a minute to bring this down. But this has been hidden in your nervous system and not questioned, right? It's just there. It's just part of you, right? And we don't even question it. That's why these processes are so amazing, I think. So now I want you to think about, what rule did you break? When you try to stand out now and you have this feeling, what was the rule in your family that you broke when you tried to step out and shine? Because there was a rule that you made, or that was in your family, and you vowed to never break it. It would be too dangerous.
Now, when you say a rule in your family,
Mm-hmm.
the one thing that came to me this time, which seems different, is I have a not now.
Okay.
So if I become wanting of attention, it's a now want.
Mm-hmm.
And to do that is breaking. It's always delayed. It's a not now, not now, not now, not now.
Oh.
So wanting attention is a now experience.
Gosh, when you said that, I could hear that in my childhood. My mom saying, not now, not now. You know, maybe later.
So it feels like a conflict to want to break the rule, the delay. It never happens.
Right. It's never going to happen.
Impossible.
It's impossible.
It's not now. Like the rule is not now.
Not now.
Right, exactly. The rule. And did you come up with a rule, Leona?
My rule was that I was attention seeking, and we don't seek attention. And we don't try to prove ourselves better than anybody else by demonstrating, even if it's a challenge.
Okay. So don't be better than others. Don't seek attention. Yep. Not now. Wow. The not now is resonating with me, Kathy, quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else have a rule they want to share?
And the not now was applied in that because I sang, and it was, shut up, I'm listening to the news.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not now.
My mom, I think the rule is don't stand out. But in addition to that, my mom would say, don't trust people. Don't trust your friends.
Okay.
You can only trust family, she says.
You can only trust family. Could you trust yourself?
Well, and I couldn't even trust my family because I was abused. So,
Okay.
So maybe I got, I mean, I have a very healthy relationship with my husband
Yeah.
and with my friends. It's just, I've had to overcome that, I think.
Sure.
So in business, to stand out, you know, maybe in the back of my head, I hear something that's saying, don't trust people.
Yeah. Yeah. And that would stop you right in your tracks, wouldn't it? In
Yeah.
some circumstances. Yeah.
Don't be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm. Don't be vulnerable.
Thank
All
you
right.
for
We're going to,
sharing, Kim.
what's that?
I said thank you for sharing, Kim.
Absolutely.
Aw.
Thank you all for sharing. Those are some pretty strong rules. Yeah. So we're going to do a visualization now. Okay, so I want you to just sit back and get comfortable. Take a really deep breath. Close your eyes if you want to. So take another deep breath. And I want you to feel your feet on the floor or the stool, wherever they are, on your chair. And I want you to feel your chair supporting you or your back supporting you. Just feel the support, your butt in the chair, whatever support you have. I just want you to feel that. And take another breath and just try to come down into your body. And I'm going to have you paint a picture or see a movie of yourself. And you could just imagine yourself. And I want you to imagine yourself up on a stage. In this movie, in this picture that you're painting of yourself, you're on a stage. And you have an audience in front of you. There's maybe 30 to 50 people in the audience. And maybe they're your perfect clients. Maybe they're referral partners or people that could help you in your business. If you work for somebody else, maybe it's your boss or your manager that's out in that audience. Colleagues, people that depend on you, right? And maybe even it's the people that are responsible for how much money you make. So in this movie, I want you to face your audience, and I want you to say to them these few sentences. I am awesome at what I do. I'm a rock star, and I deserve to be paid well. So just imagine this happening in your movie. What just happened? What happened inside of you? Are there any feelings that are coming up or any thoughts, any words? Is there embarrassment or shame? Are you questioning yourself? Am I good enough? Am I smart enough? Am I really able to do this? And if you have any thoughts or feelings you want to write down, go ahead and jot them down. And I want you to also look at the audience. What are they doing? What are they saying? Are they happy? Are they happy for you? Are they horrified? Maybe they're asking you to prove it. Prove you're a rock star and you're worth this. And some people in your audience might be positive and happy, and yet we tend to fixate on the negative, right? And this is really important. Okay, energetically, this is showing what our programming is inside. So jot down anything that's coming up, because this is really important. This is key for how you can help yourself in the future. And if it's not triggering you at all, that's great. Say hallelujah, we'll keep going, and the tapping we're going to do is not going to hurt at all. It's just going to reinforce. But what is the rule that you broke when you said those things? When you expressed your awesomeness and you're deserving to be paid? Is there a rule or a vow that you made that you said you would never break? Because there was probably consequences to breaking that. And so write that down, because it can stop you in your tracks, in your business, but also in any other area of life, in many other areas, not just one or two, but it can stop you in anything you want to do. So that's why this is really important to write down and get a handle on this. And we're going to do some tapping in a moment. So just write down anything else you need, and we're going to start tapping. Take a really deep breath. When you're tuned in to the feelings, I brought you there. You're tuned in. So we're going to just start tapping. So you can start wherever you want. You can follow along where I am, or whatever you do. Just be comfortable in this. So I have these old stories.
I have these old stories.
Thank you, Kathy, for being my echo. And you can all just say it out loud, or you can mute yourselves, whatever you feel comfortable with. So they play like movies in my head.
They play like movies in my head.
These past times.
These past times.
And I can still see it.
And I can still see it.
It wasn't safe for me.
It wasn't safe for me.
It wasn't appropriate.
It wasn't appropriate.
They didn't want me to shine or to stand out.
They didn't want me to shine or stand out.
Nobody wanted that.
Nobody wanted that.
These past experiences. Maybe I tried.
Maybe I tried.
And I was punished.
And I was punished.
Maybe I was ignored.
Maybe I was ignored.
And it really hurt.
And it really hurt.
It was embarrassing.
It was embarrassing.
And this embarrassment and shame.
It was embarrassment and shame.
It tore through my nervous system like a shock.
Tore through my nervous system. Shock.
It was a shock.
A shock.
And my nervous system got wired.
And the nervous system got wired.
To stop me from standing out.
Stop me from standing out.
And shining as me.
And shining as me.
The me that I'm meant to be.
The me that I'm meant to be.
And all these past movies.
And all these past movies.
Maybe one movie in particular.
Maybe one movie in particular.
Where I really got shamed.
Where I really got shamed.
I got slammed.
I got slammed.
And it just wasn't safe.
It just wasn't safe.
I was just a kid.
I was just a kid.
I was very young.
I was very young.
and it wasn't safe.
It isn't safe.
So I vowed to stay invisible.
So I vowed to stay invisible.
I get it now.
I get it now.
I vowed to stay invisible.
I vowed to stay invisible.
And whenever I try to step up,
Whenever I step up,
I feel it.
I feel it.
All this old anxiety
All this old anxiety
and shame
and shame
and fear,
and fear.
this old story,
This old story.
and all the people involved.
All the people involved.
And maybe I have more work to do around it,
Maybe I have more work to do around it.
but I'm just going to honor it
And I'm just going to honor it.
because it really affected me.
It really affected me.
And I don't always think about it,
I don't think about it.
and I downplay it,
And I downplay it.
but it did affect me.
It did affect me.
I get it now.
I get it now.
I lost a lot.
I lost a lot.
I lost a lot because of this,
I lost a lot because of this.
and I'm just going to honor it.
And I'm just going to honor it.
These old events,
These old events.
I'm open to healing it.
I'm open to healing it.
All these people involved.
There's people involved.
It's my intention to heal this.
It's my intention to heal this.
All the tears I've never cried for myself.
All the tears I've never cried for myself.
All the hurt.
All the hurt.
All the loss.
All the loss.
All the hugs I actually needed
All the hugs I actually needed.
that I never got.
That I never got.
And I honor all of that.
I honor all of that.
I'm just going to honor all of it.
I'm just going to honor all of it.
No wonder I struggle when it's time to own my value.
No wonder I struggle to own my value.
But the truth is,
The truth is,
I'm good at what I do.
I'm good at what I do.
I really do care.
I really do.
I've set really big goals,
I've set really big goals,
and I'm open to giving my best.
and I'm open to giving my best.
I'm open to giving.
I'm open to giving.
I'm open to giving value.
I'm open to giving value.
The value that I'm looking to receive.
Value I'm looking to receive.
I'm really good at what I do,
I'm really good at what I do.
and I'm just going to honor that.
And I'm just going to honor that. I'm just going to honor that.
And as I honor myself,
And as I honor myself,
and I stand in my true value,
and I stand in my true value,
I give everyone else permission to do the same.
I give everyone else permission to do the same.
I give everyone permission to stand in their value.
I give everyone permission to stand in their value.
I honor the light within me.
I honor the light
within me.
The part that loves being me.
the part that loves me.
And I'm open to shining a little bit more of that light.
And I'm open to shining a little more of that light.
Maybe even a lot more.
Maybe even a lot more.
For my highest good
For my highest good.
and everyone else around me.
And everyone else around me.
When I shine more of my light,
When I shine more of my light,
I give everyone permission to do the same.
I give everyone permission to do the same.
And that's just awesome.
And that's just awesome.
Take a really deep breath. I just wanted to presence and honor this, and show you a pathway. It's not about being arrogant. It's not about saying, I'm great, look at me. Even though we are great, and we do want people to look at us, there's a bigger picture. And in order to reach our goals, to make the goals happen that we've created, it's going to require us to be bolder. It's going to require us to step out and say, look at me, right? People have to see us in order to receive the gifts that we have to give. So clearing this is going to help us to be more enthusiastic and courageous and stand in our genius and stand in our light, right? And it's going to bring out this more fun, on fire, enthusiastic version of ourself, right? And it requires the energy to come up. And it's going to require a lot of different actions, right? There's ways that we can double and triple our income without doing a ton more work. And it's shining in this light that will draw people to us, right? There's actions and strategies that we can take to leverage our energy, to leverage our time, right? To take the brilliance that we have inside, and to work smarter, not harder. So this is how we do it. We clear those blocks to being seen. And I've lost myself here. I'm kind of like,
Well, while you collect yourself, Wendy,
Yeah.
there's this piece, and I think other people might be able to relate to this. I just discovered another rule of like other people first, or it's like a belief in lack.
Yeah.
When we were tapping and the script led us through, when I shine my light, other people have permission as well. And there's a little dissonance in the who am I, or the embarrassment. The programming gets activated of like, well, they don't need my permission. How arrogant. And you're framing that, you're moving in that. And what I want to bring to that, which helps me so much, is the high tide raises all ships.
Yeah.
That including yourself in the goodness is a gift to give to everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And I just wanted to kind of support the framing that you're making, because that piece is so important. Because as long as we're holding ourselves separate from the gifts of the world, as long as we're holding ourselves not now,
Yeah.
or don't trust people, or that's not my family, as long as we're doing that, we're actually not contributing to the high tide of everyone we actually care about. So it really is valuable to excavate this and recognize something different, recognize, rethink this a little bit.
Yeah. Absolutely. Wow. Yeah, I love that reframing. It's good to have the clarity and recognize. And that piece that's hitting me right now is that, standing out would mean I'm arrogant. And it's not. I think I'm standing out right now, and I'm not arrogant.
Yeah.
My heart is for all of you here and anyone listening to really be able to dig in and heal this part of yourself that was just stuck back when you were young because of how you were treated for whatever reason. It doesn't matter if your family meant to do that or not. It's how you felt at the time, right? It's how you perceived the situation.
And
right?
it's the truth. It becomes the truth.
It
And
becomes the truth.
without a review or a rethinking of it, it stays the truth.
Yeah, without clearing it from your nervous system, it keeps coming up.
Yeah.
Right, it keeps coming up. It's
That
gonna
that undoes the amygdala and the limbic system, which is where your emotional memory is just locked in a jail there. So this resets that response mechanism in your brain through the nervous system.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I encourage you to continue to think about this week. Come back and do the tapping. We'll have this posted on our YouTube channels, but come back, do the tapping. I'm sure, Kathy, or I could get you a script of this if you would like that also. But I want to do one more visualization with you just to kind of cement in some of the positive. So anything else somebody wants to say before we go on to this? Because, this is really powerful. Awesome. All right, so take a deep breath, close your eyes, and just relax. Sink back into your chair. Feel the support. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel the energy of the earth coming up and just filling you. Breathe. So I want you to maybe put one hand on your heart and the other hand on your solar plexus. And I just want you to imagine that right on your solar plexus, inside of you, there's this big, beautiful golden sun. And as the sun, that is you, like the sunshine, this pure light. It's the most enthusiastic space of being totally you. Every part of you, your brilliance, your goofiness, your seriousness, your flaws and insecurities, your strength. It's your courage. It's your dumb and your smart moments. All enthusiastically mixed together. It's you. It's that little girl or little boy inside of you that just wants to be out in the rain in your bathing suit and just go, yeah! It's you. But imagine that golden sun inside of you is radiating out of you. It's expanding and expanding outward. This is a great meditation to come back to, especially when you're about to do something new and step out of your comfort zone. And if you want to add an affirmation in there, I want you to say this. I really like being me. I love being me. And anytime that a thought comes up into your head that says, yeah, but, I made this mistake or whatever, come back to this. Wow, I really like being me. And see this golden sun inside, and it's radiating out and it's letting other people shine, right? It's you shining. And you're giving other people permission to shine. And just sit with this energy for a moment. And breathe it in. Give yourself permission to be the authentic you and to shine. And so I want you this week to think about this visualization too, and to come back to it. And sit and center yourselves and put your hands on your body and breathe and just visualize that bright light. Anytime the yeah buts come up or the I'm nots, come back to this. You give yourself permission to be you. That was wonderful, ladies. I love how you really came with beginner's mind and you let things come up to the surface and let them bubble up so that you could work with them. I really appreciate that. And you'll appreciate as you go through and you see, wait, like in the next few days, you might say, I have this new idea, or something might come up that you haven't seen before. So be watching.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Really good. And I'm always reminded that 30 minutes or 45 minutes in this kind of space, in this kind of self-care and inner work, and in this format, it's a connective, mutually supportive environment. In the scheme of a week, an hour is not that much time. How much time do we spend driving or watching TV or doing sort of mundane things? But this kind of work can color, inform, and become the filter in which we do those other activity. It really is very, very powerful to spend this kind of time on ourselves.
Absolutely.
Because then when we go to write the email or take an action, this light is there. This shift in relationship to ourself is there. And that's what has our results be there. It's always been that way. We've spent so much time in this other mode, and that's informing our actions. So just a little, it's so powerful.
Absolutely.
It's so powerful. And I want to thank Kay for being here, and Leona for being here, and Kim, thank you so much for being here with us.
Yeah,
As we
great
kind of
to have you.
Yeah, really, really good job.
Thanks for inviting us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's an open invitation. We do it every Friday from 8 to 9 Mountain Time. We're here doing this kind of process. We're moving through the tapping into wealth processes. And then after that, either we'll do another round of it, or we'll start moving into some of the chakra meditations and processes that we're also trained in. So next week, we're working on the vow of perfection, which has its own piece of resistance built into, holding us back from our success. And many people know that one well, but we'll dismantle it and rethink it a bit in a similar but different way. So that'll be something to look forward to. And as we round out this session, I just want to invite another piece of sharing. If there's anything that you really want to highlight for yourself as you move into the week, either an aha takeaway moment of like, oh my gosh, that one's going to come back to me through the course of the week, or some piece of like, this is where I want to apply it in my action, like an accountability piece. I just want to invite another round of sharing if anyone has something like that to give to themselves and the group.
I think go ahead, Kay.
Okay, so when I was on stage, what I saw was that the audience was ready to hear me speak. So they didn't have a judgment at that point. But I didn't even want to be there. So I'll take that through this week. It's very interesting.
Fascinating.
That is fascinating, yeah.
When you said the not now thing, Kathy, that really, really resonated with me. It was kind of a part of what I had envisioned earlier on, but it wasn't that clear, not now. So that's definitely something to continue to tap on. And now I'm wondering how many times that was said to my kids. So.
No, me too.
That's
Yeah.
where the self-compassion, the deeply and completely love and accept myself piece is so, so powerful, because you didn't make it up. Your parents didn't make that up.
Right.
And the fact that we mistakenly pass that on to our kids to the degree that we have or have not is not our fault either.
Right.
So, yeah, the what is now, like how can I be more fully alive now? That's like the flip. When you if it's lived as not now, delay, not now, delay, and it never happens, it makes a lot of sense that it's our now responsibility, right, and privilege to say, how now? How do we do it now? How do we feel alive now? How do we shine that light brighter now?
And how do we live more authentically and spontaneously, especially when it comes to our emotions?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Kim?
This has been great, and I've been putting more information out on Facebook and holding back on Facebook Lives because I'm a control freak. I want to record it and then delete the parts I don't like. But maybe writing, writing more and getting into a routine to put myself out there more in a business sense, on my Facebook page, and providing value and helping others shine their light too.
Come back next week for the vow of perfectionism.
Yeah, my brother is a marketing guy, and he will say to me, good is good enough. If you're going to, you need to put it out there. It doesn't have to be perfect. Good is good enough. And yeah, it's a hard one to swallow sometimes, but.
Well, I preach it because I was just telling my son that he's at School of Mines, and he's like really stressed out because it's not exactly what he wants. He's doing the project, and I'm like, good is done. Done is better than perfection. And he's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
His thing is due today at 5. So
okay.
His big 3-week project. So.
Oh yeah. So then you want it to be perfect.
Yeah. Well, and he's working with other people too. So in that case, you definitely don't have the control,
Group projects are always such an interesting challenge.
Like herding cats, I say.
Exactly.
Herding cats.
And when it comes to it, we only have ourselves, our response, our reaction, our relationship to ourselves. I mean, that's really what this is mostly about, because when we have more of our own, I don't know, self-love, self-respect, then we can interact really differently with other people on those nuances. We can strive for excellence and accept good is good enough. There's that balance each person has to figure out for themselves around how hard they want to work at getting other people to do what they want, or how hard they want to work at getting themselves to do what they need to do. And it's all good. Not to be too cliche, but it truly is all good.
And that piece of honoring where we're at right now, it's okay if it goes out and it's not perfect. I'm just going to honor that. But I want it to be perfect. Okay, I'm going to honor that too.
Because maybe there's perfection built in to what it is, even with clerical errors or misspelled or other people not pulling their weight or whatever. Maybe there is a bigger perfection that I can participate in. So lowering the resistance to what is, so that you can more easily receive what can be.
Right. And people need to hear the value that you can provide to them. They need that daily inspiration. They need that person to follow, that person to be accountable to.
Yeah.
So, and I can be that.
Yes, you can. Yes, you absolutely can. How about you, Wendy? You have any little mastermind piece, little aha moment, takeaway? Something
Yeah, I'm right now going to the perfection piece, and but it was really interesting that I just kind of lost myself in the process and doing that, and that's okay, that's okay. And there's actually another tapping script that I didn't do one time wise, and because I got lost, but it's it's taking that forward with me, that I can do what I need to do this week, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I can get lost, and I can find myself. I can find that light inside, and I can keep shining. I guess it's permission to do that. Permission for myself to just be who I am right now. And yeah.
So the visualization of the sun, when I put myself back up on the stage of my ideal clients, and I visualize them turning around with their sun and it impacting more and more people.
I love it. Yeah. Yeah, because that's what it does. It spreads ripples. It's like throwing the rock into the pond and the ripples go out, and that's what we're doing.
And when we go to like the inspiration, the daily inspiration, or the expertise. Okay, there she goes. I think of how many audiences I've sat in, how many experts I've given my listening and light to, and that there really is more than enough for everyone. It's not that everyone has to be a superstar. It's that we all have something expert to give. We all have something unique to tell an audience. There's more than enough audiences for all of us to be heard in. And that piece is just really important. You got to say your message for an audience to hear. You got to want to be there, right, Kay? Because there is an audience wanting to hear. There is, for each of us, for all of us.
Right, they're there. They're interested. They're connected. They want you.
Yeah. Oh, we got a lot of noise going on.
That's awesome. Oh, well, thank you all so much for being here today and participating, for not just, sitting back and listening, but for actually participating and doing the work, because that's when we're going to see the changes in ourselves, when we actually join in and do the work. And it just, for me, it's propelling me to kind of put myself out there more and do more. So yeah, excited.
Sounds awesome.
Wonderful. Well, we'll see you all next week, right?
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
So for being here. I'm Kathy Delamia. This is Wendy, and we facilitate the Friday group coaching and mastermind every Friday. So we're just so delighted to be here with you on a regular basis. And hopefully you'll see these fine women, Kay and Leona and Kim, again as well, because they have their own message to give. So stay tuned. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.